Tonight, we are going to leave the noise of the modern world behind. We are turning the clock back, not by years or centuries, but by tens of thousands of years. Imagine a time when the only skyscrapers were glaciers and the only streetlights were the distant glittering stars. You are standing on the edge of a vast, frozen plain. The air here is not just cold, it is a physical weight pressing against your skin, sharp and sterile. There is no hum of a refrigerator, no distant traffic, no blue light from a screen. There is only the wind, which carries the scent of snow and ancient stone. Before you settle in, take a moment to realize how safe you are right now. You are wrapped in blankets, protected by walls, comfortable in a way your ancestors could only dream of. If you enjoy these journeys into the past, please take a second to like and subscribe and let me know in the comments where you are drifting off from tonight. Now, let your shoulders drop. Unclench your jaw. Let the darkness of the room merge with the darkness of the story. We are going back to the Ice Age. Imagine yourself stepping out from a shelter made of rock. The ground beneath your feet is hard, frozen solid like iron. The wind hits you instantly, stripping away the thin layer of heat clinging to your body. You look up and the sky is a bruised purple, fading into a deep, endless black. The stars are terrifyingly bright, shards of ice scattered across the universe. You are alone for a moment, just you and the vast and different silence of the Pleistocene era. You pull your fur wrap tighter, burying your chin into the coarse hair of the hide. This is a world before comfort was invented. This is a world where warmth was not a guarantee, but a daily battle. You walk towards a rocky overhang, seeking refuge. The sound of your footsteps is loud, a crunching, snapping sound as the frozen grass breaks under your weight. In the distance, a wolf howls, a long, mournful sound that rolls over the hills. It is a reminder that you are not the master of this world. You are just a visitor. You reach the mouth of a shallow cave. It is dark inside, but it is not empty. As your eyes adjust, you see shapes. They are not threats, they are your people. A small band of early humans huddled together in a tight pile of furs and limbs. This is the first technology humanity ever mastered, the technology of each other. You crawl into the space, finding a spot near the center. The air inside smells of damp earth, old smoke, and the musk of animal skins. It is not a pleasant smell by modern standards, but to you it smells like safety. You press your back against the warmth of another person. You feel the slow rise and fall of their breathing. This is thermal cooperation, a survival strategy as old as life itself. Just as penguins rotate in the Antarctic winds, your group shares its heat. The person in the center warms up, then moves to the edge, a slow, unconscious dance that lasts all night. You close your eyes, feeling the heat seep into your frozen muscles. Historians and archaeologists often debate how these early humans felt. Did early humans have fire every night? The evidence suggests maybe not. There are layers of history buried in the dirt, ash, bones, soot, that tell us fire was precious and sometimes elusive. Imagine a night without it. You have no matches, no lighter, no switch to flip. You have only the heat of your own body and the bodies around you. You learn to breathe through your nose to trap the moisture and warmth. You learn to tuck your hands into the folds of your clothing. Survival becomes an art form, a series of small instinctive adjustments. The cave is quiet now, save for the occasional rustle of a hide or a soft cough. Outside, the snow begins to fall. It falls silently, thick, heavy flakes that blanket the world in white. The silence of a heavy snow is absolute. It dampens sound, absorbing the wind, turning the landscape into a muted, ghostly version of itself. In this silence, you might wonder what these early people thought about. They had no calendars to mark the end of winter. They had no words for thermodynamics or hypothermia. They only knew the feeling, the bite of the frost on their fingertips, the ache in their bones, and the immense relief when the sun finally crested the horizon. Perhaps this is where patience was born, not in a waiting room or a traffic jam, but here in the dark, waiting for the earth to turn back toward the light. You drift deeper into relaxation, imagining the slow passage of time. Hours stretch out. The cold outside tries to find a way in, testing the cracks in the stone, probing the gaps in the furs. But the heat of the group pushes back. It is a silent war, fought every single night. And every morning when you wake up, it's a victory. As dawn approaches in your imagination, the light that filters into the cave is gray and weak. It offers no heat, only vision. You see the frost that has formed on the walls of the cave, glittering like crushed diamonds. You see the breath of your companions misting in the air, creating a small personal cloud for each sleeper. You untangle yourself from the group and stand up, your joints stiff. You step outside again. The world has changed. Everything is coated in a layer of white. The silence is broken only by the crunch of your own movement. You look at the landscape and realize that humans did not just hide in caves, they built. Across the valley, you see a structure that looks like a skeleton rising from the snow. It is a hut, but not made of wood or brick. It is made of the bones of mammoths. This is a mainstream historical fact that still feels like fantasy. In parts of Eastern Europe, archaeologists have uncovered houses built entirely from the remains of these giants. The great curved tusks form the archway, the ribs create the roof, the heavy leg bones form the foundation. Imagine the effort it took to build this, to drag these massive bones across the frozen tundra, to stack them, to interlock them without mortar or nails. It's architecture born of desperation and genius. You walk towards one of these bone huts. It sits on the plain looking like a strange organic boulder. You run your hand over the entrance, a massive tusk, smooth and cold to the touch. Inside, it is surprisingly warm. The walls are lined with thick furs, and the floor is dug down into the earth. The concept of digging down is another stroke of brilliance. The earth maintains a steady temperature, warmer than the freezing air above. By lowering the floor, these early humans utilized the planet's own insulation. You step down into the pit house. The wind outside whistles against the bone frame, a high-pitched song, but it cannot get in. The air here is still. It smells of dried grass and reindeer fat. In the center, there is a small pile of glowing embers, not a roaring fire, but a smoldering heat source. Perhaps they are burning dried dung or bones soaked in fat. It burns slowly, releasing a steady, low heat. You sit by this faint glow. The shadows stretching across the curved bone walls are eerie, but also comforting. You are sitting inside the ribcage of a beast that once ruled the ice. Now it protects you. You think about the ingenuity required to survive here. It wasn't just about finding shelter, it was about creating it. You notice a needle made of bone lying on a flat stone. It is tiny, delicate, with an eye drilled so perfectly it seems impossible. This needle represents a revolution. It means tailored clothing. Before this, people might have draped skins over themselves like blankets, but with the needle, they could sew. They could create fitted trousers, parkas with hoods, boots lined with moss. They created micro-environments for their bodies. You imagine a woman sitting by the faint light, stitching pieces of fox fur together. Her fingers are rough, but her movements are precise. She is not just making a coat, she is making survival. She is sewing a barrier between life and the void. The wind picks up outside, a low roar that vibrates through the ground. But you are safe in this bone house. You watch the smoke from the embers drift up toward a small hole in the roof. It swirls and dances, a gray ribbon against the dark ceiling. This simple act, trapping heat while letting smoke escape, is a problem engineers still solve today. But here, the solution is raw and elemental. You lean back against a pile of furs. They are soft, deep, and warm. You feel the weight of them pressing down on you, a comforting heaviness. This is the origin of the weighted blanket, the instinct to be covered, to be held down, to be swaddled against the cold.
As you rest there, let your mind wander to the landscape outside. The Ice Age was a world of megafauna, giant elk with antlers spanning meters, woolly rhinos plodding through the drifts, and herds of reindeer flowing like a river across the white plains. You wonder what it was like to hunt in this world, to track an animal not for sport, but because your life depended on the fat and the fur. The fat was crucial. It wasn't just food, it was fuel. It was the candle, the heater, the energy. Burning animal fat in a stone lamp provided a steady, sputtering light that pushed back the absolute darkness of the winter nights. You can almost smell it, a greasy, heavy scent that coats the back of your throat. It is the smell of life. Let's travel further in your mind, to a time when the group decides to move. The seasons are shifting, the herds are migrating, and you must follow. You pack up your few belongings, flint tools, a carved figure, your warm furs. You step out into the vastness. The migration is slow. There are no roads, only the path of least resistance. You walk along the ridge of a frozen river, the ice cracking and groaning like a living thing. The cold is a constant companion. It nips at your nose, it stiffens your eyelashes. But your body is a furnace. You are moving, generating heat. Your breath clouds in front of you, a rhythmic puff of white that marks your pace. Step, breathe, step, breathe. You are not alone in this journey. There are others walking in a line, stepping in each other's footprints to save energy. It is a silent procession. Talking wastes breath, wastes warmth. So you communicate with gestures, with looks, a point of a finger toward a sheltered valley, a nod toward the setting sun. This shared hardship creates a bond stronger than any spoken promise. You are a single organism moving across the ice. As night falls on the trail, you cannot build a bone hut. You must improvise. You find a snowbank and begin to dig. You carve out a hollow, piling the snow into a wall to break the wind. This is the snow shelter, the quinsy, the igloo's ancestor. You crawl inside this mound of white. It should be freezing, but snow is an insulator. It traps the air. As you pile in with your family, your body heat fills the small space. The walls of snow begin to glaze over on the inside, forming an icy seal that reflects the heat back at you. It is quiet in here, muffled and dim. The wind howls outside, a furious, screaming thing. But inside it is just a murmur. You are in a cocoon of ice, kept warm by the fire of your own metabolism. You drift off to sleep, shoulder to shoulder, dreaming of the spring that feels 1,000 years away. Now, let the scene shift again. Time speeds up, centuries melting like snowflakes on a warm hand. We are in a deep cave now, far underground. The air here is different, steady, cool, and damp. It feels timeless. You are holding a torch, a bundle of dried moss and fat on a stick. The flame flickers, casting wild shadows that jump across the uneven stone walls. You are deep inside the earth, in a place of ritual. You walk until the tunnel opens up into a great chamber, and there, on the walls, you see them, the animals. Bison painted in sweeping strokes of red ochre and black charcoal, horses that seem to gallop across the rock face, a mammoth with curving tusks. These are not crude drawings, they are masterpieces. The artists used the natural bulges of the rock to give the animals muscle and depth. In the flickering torchlight, the animals seem to move. They breathe. This is the first cinema, the first cathedral. You stand there, feeling the weight of the stone above you. Why did they come down here? Was it to escape the cold? Or was it to find something else? Perhaps in a world where everything was a struggle for survival, they needed a place for their spirits to rest, a place to make sense of the chaos. You watch the smoke from your torch drift up to the ceiling, joining the soot left by visitors from generations before. You are part of a long line of humans who have stood in this exact spot, staring at these exact paintings, feeling the same mixture of awe and fear. The silence here is heavy, thick with history. You can hear the drip, drip, drip of water falling from a stalactite into a pool. It is a slow, hypnotic rhythm. Drip, drip, drip. It measures time not in seconds, but in eons. You sit on the cool floor of the cave. It feels grounding. The earth is solid beneath you, unchanging. Let's go back to the fire, the discovery that changed everything. Historians argue about when it happened. Did we steal it from a lightning strike?
Did we learn to rub sticks together until they smoked? However it happened, imagine the first time a group of humans managed to keep a fire alive through the night. The way the orange light pushed back the predators, the way the heat relaxed tense muscles, the way it cooked meat, releasing nutrients that grew our brains. But more than that, fire created the circle. Before fire, when it got dark, you slept. But with fire, you could sit up. You could look at each other. You could tell stories. Imagine sitting around that first true hearth, the flames snapping and popping, sending sparks up into the night sky to join the stars. Someone begins to hum a low tune. Someone else taps a rhythm on a hollow log. This is the birth of culture, the birth of community. The warmth on your face is not just physical, it is emotional. You feel connected to these people in a way that goes beyond survival. You are sharing a moment of peace in a hostile world. You watch the coals glow, pulsing with a deep, intense red. You can feel the heat radiating outward, penetrating your skin, warming your blood. In some excavations, archaeologists have found stones that were heated in fires and then wrapped in leather. These were the first hot water bottles, the first bed warmers. Imagine taking a warm stone, wrapping it in soft fur, and tucking it against your stomach as you lie down to sleep. The gentle, radiating heat lasting for hours, easing the chill of the ground. It is such a simple comfort, yet so profound. You imagine doing this now, finding a warm, smooth stone, feeling its weight, its stored energy, and letting it lull you into a deep slumber. The wind outside has died down. The storm has passed. The world is still frozen, but it is calm. You step out of the shelter one last time to look at the sky. The northern lights, the aurora borealis, are dancing overhead. Great curtains of green and violet ripple across the atmosphere. They move slowly, silently, like spirits wandering the heavens. To the early humans, this must have looked like magic, a sign from the ancestors, a bridge to another world. You stand there, head tilted back, watching the lights weave and fade. The cold touches your cheeks, but you don't mind it now. You are part of this landscape. You are a survivor. You think about the layers of history beneath your feet, the tools dropped in the snow, the bones buried in the mud, the ashes of fires long extinguished. It is all still there, waiting to be found. But the most important legacy is the one you carry inside you, the resilience, the ability to endure the long night, the instinct to seek warmth and to share it. You turn back to the shelter, back to the warmth. You crawl under your heavy coverings, pulling them up to your chin. The fur is soft, the ground is stable, and the fire is dying down to a gentle, comforting glow. The air in the shelter is thick and drowsy. You listen to the breathing of the group, a collective lullaby. You let your own breathing slow down to match it. Inhale, exhale. The worries of the hunt, the fear of the cold, the uncertainty of tomorrow, it all fades away. There is only now. There is only warmth. You realize that you have traveled thousands of years to learn a simple lesson, that rest is essential, that after the struggle there must be peace, that the night is not something to fear, but something to welcome. As you lie there, hovering between wakefulness and sleep, you think about the modern world you actually live in. You think about your bed, your pillows, your roof. You realize how luxurious it is, but you also realize that the feeling of safety is exactly the same. Whether it's a bone hut on a frozen plain or a bedroom in a city, the feeling of closing your eyes and knowing you are warm is universal. It connects you to every human who has ever lived. The fire pops one last time, a soft sound that signals the end of the day. The shadows stand still. The world outside is silent and white and vast. But here, in this small circle of heat, everything is all right. You let yourself drift, drifting deeper into the comfort of the furs, deeper into the safety of the cave, deeper into the quiet of the past. The Ice Age is a time of endurance, but tonight it is a time of rest. You are warm. You are safe. You are home. And as the centuries fold over you like a heavy blanket, you can finally let go. The journey is over. The fire will keep watch. Sleep now, surrounded by the echoes of history. Sleep in the warmth that humanity fought so hard to create. Good night.